Hey everyone, welcome to Proof of Art at Francisco Carolinum, Linz. I'm super excited to show you some of what we have here. This is when you first come in, the opening staircase. The title text is right down here, so when you actually walk up, you kind of enter the NFT Metaverse digital space. And now we are on to chapter 1. But before that, just to give some context for anybody who's coming to this new, this is the first major museum exhibition on the history of NFTs. And the way that we approached this curatorially was that we wanted to take the long view in thinking about what NFTs do rather than just the technology that NFTs are. And so that view stretches back to the beginning of computer art, and it gestures toward what we're seeing kind of the art of the future becoming. So with that, we can head over to chapter 1. So, as mentioned, chapter 1, in terms of chronology and a clarification, these chapters are grouped loosely chronologically, but it's not meant to be super rigid. It's meant to really evoke the fact that this history is really disparate and pulls from different realms of art and media, technology, culture. And so the way we're thinking about this history is that it's all these different threads, the sort of like the everythingness of all those threads. And so this room is the sort of introduction to that everythingness. So we have some amazing examples of early video art, early digital art, early computer art. So yeah, I'm super excited for you to kind of take a look at each of these. We're really proud of how this turned out. Welcome to chapter 2. One thing to point out here, because you'll notice scenographically there's this really punchy arsenic green, and so this is a moment that I want to take to shout out Fabian, who kind of masterminded this amazing sort of exhibition design and scenographical flow, and so this color was a point of great discussion as we were putting this all together. So chapter 2 is called Decentralization and Tokenization. So the way we're thinking about this is after the release of the Bitcoin white paper in 2008 and after the really early introductory experimentation, we see this creative wave of artists really starting to engage with autonomous systems, decentralization, ideas of self-tokenization, tokenizing one's practice. And so it's a really, really vibrant period in crypto art. So that's chapter 2. Looking forward for you all to see these pieces. The other aspect of the exhibition that I'm super excited about is that it takes place in two realities simultaneously. So you have the work that obviously is exclusively physical, and then you have a lot of digital work that lives both in the museum and in Cryptovoxels, because we felt it was important to have this Metaverse expression of the show, particularly given that so many of these pieces were created in a Metaverse context with digital creative tools. So in every room, we have a workstation where visitors can access Cryptovoxels. So of course, our hope and our expectation is that most people around the world, this is so that everybody around the world can access these amazing works of art. And so because there's so many, we're hoping that people really spend time taking that in on their own and really going through thoughtfully with each piece. But we also wanted to give visitors who came to the physical exhibition a taste of what that would be like, to make sure that they extended that journey themselves, so folks are here in Linz. So this is what these workstations look like. Basically, you come up and you sort of enter in this main space. You have a sort of, I keep wanting to say rubric, but it's not a rubric. You have a description of how to operate in the space if you're new to Cryptovoxels. One really cool thing that not everybody knows is that you can fly. So the other really cool aspect that we're excited about with the Metaverse is that you actually can take it sort of according to the normal rules of space-time and gravity, but you can also choose to fly if you just look up and hold it up, or the W button, unless you're under the wall, a ceiling, in which case you can. But I really, really encourage you all to go through here. There's a ton of incredible work. You can even just see little glimpses of it here, but I would really encourage you to get right up close to it. So yeah, super excited about our Cryptovoxels. And now we'll head over to chapter 3. So this chapter we've called Recentralization, and we wanted to capture the period of time that occurred basically after CryptoPunks into CryptoKitties. So CryptoKitties kind of like carried the idea of NFT collectibles into a much more visible mainstream context, not necessarily an art context, but in a fun, cultural, collectible context, which of course was shortly thereafter followed by OpenSea, and the following years we saw all these different crypto marketplaces, these rare collectible and art marketplaces emerge. And what was really exciting about this period is that it created a kind of global gathering place for artists from around the world with different styles, different relationships to academic training versus being self-taught, using digitally native tools versus using more legacy established media, and even artists who were using established media kind of coming into NFTs and really exploring what NFTs could do in their practice and what it could be. During this same time, we saw a continuation of the threads that were started in what we're calling chapter 2, with really critical looks at the impact of technologies on the planet, because we tend to think of technologies as these, or rather our engagement on like through the cloud and on social media and on the internet as kind of invisible, but obviously they're not. And in many cases have a dramatic toll on the environment. Of course, NFTs minted on Ethereum right now are no exception. So this is a space where sort of people that were really thinking about this and conceptualizing it in fascinating ways really rise up. So yeah, take a look. It's really, really great work. mention is that we have these gorgeous 65-inch screens for the Cryptovoxels work. Right now you can see Mars House by Krista Kim. And so as I mentioned, with the Cryptovoxels work, that's accessible across all 4 rooms because we're aware that a lot of people came to NFTs because of this most recent wave, from kind of 2018 to present, and particularly because of all the sort of crazy headline-grabbing sales. What we were really thinking about with this 4th and final chapter, especially as we kind of like connect this thread back to computer art, where the origins are back as far as the 1950s, and now we're 70 years up into the future from there, is that the metaverse is this sort of idea that obviously was coined by Neil Stephenson in Snow Crash in 1992, but has become something totally different in the public consciousness, and in many ways, like, people have different, people use it in different ways from different communities, and I think that is really the key, is that the metaverse is kind of emerging all around us from the bottom up, and different aspects, either enabling technologies or social and cultural sort of trends, all these different pieces are kind of coming together, and we're becoming ever more virtual. And so that hybridity, that human-machine, physical-digital sort of interrelationship is what we're loosely viewing as this rising metaverse. So this was a room where we really wanted to capture a few really powerful reflections of that metaversal work. And of course, everything in Cryptovoxels is doing this as well. So the pieces in this room really are playing with generative art and the way that machines are thinking about human patterning. We're thinking about the extension of net art into the 2020s. How does technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality sort of operate in this realm? Because ultimately, it's clear that it's artists who are giving us the first sort of understanding of what the metaverse is, and even though it's a messy, complex subject, they're able to present it in ways that are really thrilling and invigorating. So this is some of that work. So, and by the way, iPhone cameras are fantastic and we're so appreciative of them, but of course, we're sorry that you're not able to quite view these in the richness that you would have here, but that's all the more reason to come. And so with that, this show runs through September 15th. You might recognize a very popular event also in Linz that will be running toward the end of that time, so if you're planning to come to that, please come. If you're planning to come to Art Basel, come out a little early and come check it out, or come out during the summer. My understanding is that restrictions in Austria are decreasing in come July, so folks from overseas can have a chance to come see it. And yeah, it's at the Francisco Carolinum Linz, obviously part of OOE, which you already know that because you're watching this live stream. And yeah, I'm happy to, if there's any questions popping up, I'm happy to answer any of those, talk anything through. No, all quiet. All right, well, hope to see you out here. In the meantime, if you're not currently located in Linz, please go to the Cryptovoxels exhibition, and look forward to hearing from you and continuing this conversation.